Another surprising fight. Extremely brilliant. Shin is a typical psychic, kind of, in my opinion. He's pretty typical. He can mind read people's moves, and thus even read their subconsciousness, and he can pretty much see their future actions. You know, as they say, thoughts are faster than our actions. So if he can read your thoughts, he can obviously predict what you're gonna do, thus seeing the future, the perceived future. And then within this fight, he teams up with another assassin. He teams up with this dude named Juichiro Kaji. So Kaji was one of the members of the Special Recommendation Group in JCC Transfer Exams arc and joined the entrance exam before the third stage started. So he joins up with this dude, and he's pretty funny, but his special power, which I think is really awkward, his special power is pretty much like echolocation, like a bat. He can pretty much tell anything by sound, and it even goes beyond that. He can hear, nuances, idiosyncrasies, within objects. So he was able to read this other dude. I don't know. He's like a sleeping dude. It's just an awkward situation right now because he's like being controlled via like Bluetooth or something, maybe satellite, and then his body's moving with this technology. So it's kind of like an awkward situation. Kind of like they're kind of pretty much fighting like a Terminator type thing. I don't know. It's just really awkward. But yeah, when he teams up with this other, character, things get really exciting. Especially for like someone like I said, Shin. He's really gimmicky. His powers. So for me, it was just so surprising to see me actually enjoying this, because it does get tiring seeing people just be overpowered, having powers be just seemingly invincible. The fights just get boring. And so here, shit's really hitting the fan. They have to use every resource they have. Shin obviously is overusing his, telekinesis or whatever the fuck it is, his psychic powers where he can pretty much see the future. So he's overusing it. He's, barely able to stand, but of course, using every ounce of his power, his strength, his will. He does not want to be bottlenecked. He wants to get stronger. And of course, the other Uchiho Kaji guy, like I said, it's really gimmicky. He can hear shit. He does all right. That's all I gotta say, man. But of course, his combat ability is pretty good too, above average. And so, if you guys haven't seen this episode yet, this is episode 10, part 2 of Sakamoto Days. I don't know about you guys, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's really hard to make a fight interesting, especially with an anime based on just fighting. These are just more assassins fighting more assassins. That's what you would think at the end of the day. But no, it just really blows me away how brilliant these fights are. And but at the same time, it's like they couldn't do it. Shin's not strong enough, and I think that's what makes it fun. But of course, later on in the episode, Sakamoto does show up, save the day, etc. I don't want to spoil how it all goes down. But that's just how reality is. You're not going to win every single fight. And that's what I like about Shin's battles. Even though he's very gimmicky and just, he can just seem very I don't know what the fuck the word is, but it just sometimes when I see his fights, I'm like, oh man, typical psychic yet again. Nothing really special about that, now is it? Like, the psychic ability is like the most overused ability pretty much known in the world, known to man. So I do get a little bit tired of it, but here he really made it work, and he really did shine.